It's 12 o'clock. Welcome to the World News on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Here are the top stories. PDP Labour Party kicks as Secretary of State calls Tinubu. Federal government says negotiation ongoing with striking resident doctors. President Buhari to unveil Presidential Medical Center Friday. Court adjourns Obi's petitions against Tinubu to Friday. And in business, Senate asks CBN to release $770 million from the trap funds to foreign airlines. And on the foreign scene, Nigerian businessman Yemi Mobolade elected first mayor of US City. And in sports, Manchester City demolished Real Madrid 4-0 in UEFA Champions League semi-final. Details of this and more coming up shortly. Welcome back. Now the news in details. I am OLUWAFISAYOMI, AJIBOLA. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) and Labour Party (LP) on Wednesday expressed anger over the telephone conversation between the United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and the President-elect Bola Tinubu. Blinken pledged stronger the ties between the US and the Nigerian during a 20-minute telephone call to Tinubu, who is in France. The U.S. Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller, in a statement, said Blinken spoke with the president-elect on Tuesday. The development came 24 hours after Joe Biden administration announced the imposition of visa restrictions on Nigerians who allegedly disrupted the recently conducted elections. The U.S. said the affected persons were involved in voter threat, result manipulations, physical violence, and other activities that undermine democracy. The identities of the culprits were, however, not made public. But dismayed by Blinken's communications with Tinubu, the PDP standard bearer Atiku Abubakar, who is challenging the ex-Lagos State governor's victory at the tribunal, said the Secretary of State's assurance of bilateral cooperation contradicted the position of the U.S. on the general elections in Nigeria. The former vice president was referring to a statement issued by the U.S. government on March 2, in which it acknowledged the complaint and frustration expressed by some Nigerians about the manner in which the presidential elections was conducted and the shortcomings of the technical element used in the poll. Also, the chief spokesperson for the Obidati Presidential Campaign Council, Yunus Atanko, said it was worrisome for Blinken to discuss bilateral relationship with Tinubu. During the phone conversation, Blinken said he was committed to further strengthen the U.S.-Nigeria partnership with the incoming administration of the president-elect. President Muhammadu Buhari will this Friday inaugurate the presidential VIP wing of State House Medical Center, Abuja. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the State House Director of Information, Abiodun Oladunjoye, on Wednesday. The legacy project, situated within the premises of the presidential villa, had its groundbreaking ceremony conducted by the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, on November 1, 2021. The hospital, which serves as a specialized intensive care center, will cater for the President, Vice President, their immediate families, and the VIPs. The federal government says negotiations are ongoing with stakeholders over the 5-day warning strike embarked upon by members of the National Associations of Resident Doctors. Feeding questions from newsmen in Abuja on Wednesday, the Director of Public Health, Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Morenike Alex Oko, said the strike was of concern for the government. She noted that government, the leadership of the ministry, and relevant stakeholders are meeting to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. The resident doctor had on Tuesday served notice to the federal government of a 5-day warning strike which began on Wednesday morning. The presidential election petition court has adjourned to Friday, May 19, 2023. The petition against the president-elect Bola Tinubu by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi. During the resumed proceedings on Wednesday, the court, headed by Justice Aruna Smanani, fixed the date following the failure of parties in the petition to agree on documents, among other reasons. The panel had last week adjourned the pre-hearing of Obi and Labour Party's petition are the instance of the petitioners who agreed to harmonize documents germane to the pleading. Counsel for the Labour Party and Obi, Livy Uzokwe, SAN, on Wednesday's sitting informed the court that the first respondent, the Independent National Electoral Commission, has failed to avail its team of about 70% of document germane to the pleading. Responding counsel to INEC, A.B. Mahmood, expressed surprise at what Uzoku told the court, stating that he had several times made attempt for both teams to meet to no avail. The majority leader of House of Representatives, Ado Dogua, has dropped out of the race for the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives. Dogua led two other aspirants, Abubakar Maki and Tunji Olowuyi, to withdraw from the race on Wednesday during a meeting organized by the Joint Tax Group. It will be recalled that the ruling All Progressive Congress has picked Tajuddin Abbas and Ben Kalu for the Speaker and Deputy Speaker position, causing protest among aspirants. Dogua had earlier joined some other aspirants to form a coalition to challenge Abbas. However, in a surprise twist on Wednesday, Dogua announced his withdrawal from the race and backed Abbas, stating that he cannot go against the party. Still talking politics, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is set to constitute a committee that will review all cases of indiscipline and anti-party activities against its members. A statement by the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Oluwafisayomì, on Wednesday noted that the decision was in furtherance of ongoing efforts by the national leadership of the party to instill discipline and to achieve comprehensive reconciliation in the party. Oluwafisayomì said the party had ordered that no organ of the party at any level shall henceforth commence any disciplinary action against any member of the party without due consideration and regard to the position of the party's constitution. Moving on, Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Dauda Biu, on Wednesday, ordered the recall of the petrol team who disrespected The Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Dauda Biu, on Wednesday, ordered the recall of the patrol team disrespected a member of the public within the Egbeda Unit Command General Operational Area in Oyo State. This was made known in a statement signed by the Corps spokesperson, Bisi Kazim, on Wednesday. Kazim said the patrol team was captured on a camera behaving in a provocative manner, which was a contravention of the FRSC standard operating procedure for officers on patrol operations. PU has ordered that a full investigation into the act by the patrol team should commence immediately. Governor of Oyo State Seyi Makinde will deliver a keynote address at the Oyo International Business Summit 2023 in London on Friday. The summit is part of the administration move toward a global investment drive aimed at attracting more investors in the diaspora to invest in the States. The summit will bring together key actors in the agro-business, solid minerals and mining, tourism and sustainable energy, and infrastructure sector to discuss investment opportunities in the States. You are listening to the world news on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Still to come after this break, business, foreign, and sport. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the rest of the news. In business news, the Senate on Wednesday asked the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to release the $770 million foreign airlines funds trapped in the country. The red chamber also called on the CBN to allocate $25 million to airlines operating in Nigeria at its fortnightly dollar auctions. These resolutions were reached sequel to the consideration of a motion sponsored by Biodun Olujimi, head of the Aviation Committee, on Wednesday at the plenary. At the plenary, the upper chamber called on the federal government to urgently reverse the current trend of increasing airlines block funds in Nigeria. On the foreign scene, a Nigerian immigrant and businessman, Yemi Mobolade, has been elected the first black mayor of Colorado Springs, United States. He defeated his opponent, Wayne Williams, a Republican in the city's runoff contest. Mobolade will succeed Mayor John Sutter, a former federal prosecutor and Colorado Attorney General, who was term limited to become the city's 42nd mayor. Lastly, in sports, Bernardo Silva scored 2 half goals as Manchester City demolished older Real Madrid 4-0 in the UEFA Champions League second leg semi-final clash at the Etihad Stadium on Wednesday night. Manuel Akanji and Julian Alvarez also netted in the dominant victory as City won 5-1 on aggregate. Man City, in search of their first ever UEFA Champions League title, will meet Inter Milan in the final of the competition at the Utac Olympic Stadium in Turkey on June 10. To end the world news, a quick recap of the major headlines. PDP Labour Party kick as US Secretary of State calls Tinubu. Federal government says negotiation ongoing with striking resident doctors. President Buhari to unveil Presidential Medical Center Friday. Court adjourns Obi petition against Tinubu to Friday. And in business, we did tell you that the Senate asked CBN to release $770 million trap funds to foreign airlines. And on the foreign scene, Nigerian businessman Yemi Mobolade elected first mayor of the US city. And in sports, Manchester City demolished Real Madrid 4-0 in UEFA Champions League semi-final. The world news was edited and produced by Abidat Tawid. For more news and updates, you can follow us on social media: www.facebook.com/Al-IyamoyeTv radio, on Twitter @Iyamoye, and on Instagram @Al-Iyamoye. You can also stream live by logging on to our website www.Al-IyamoyeTVradio.com. Thanks for listening. I am OLUWAFISAYOMI AJIBOLA.